Is everyone good?
Yeah.
I'd just like to start off by saying that, it's really well attended tonight. Well attended is in it's well attended, but also that everyone who's here is attending it really well. So, I'm also just going to let everyone know, okay, so yeah, my name's Keith. This is my first ever comedy gig outside of Trinity. So, this is like the biggest kind of stage I've been on. In the Workman's, or Workman's, if you mispronounce it. So I'm used to kind of just making jokes about being in Trinity to other Trinity students, I suppose. So now I'm going to continue in a similar vein of making fun of the Workman's. So the Workman's is just full of vibrating dickheads, right? Actually, wait, can we all go to the Workman's after this? As in, like, upstairs? Oh, okay, well, I probably will. Okay, so yeah, I didn't really prepare that much tonight. I usually prepare like really well, but I'm pretty much just going off my hand here, which kind of looks like a map of Mordor right now. I even wrote some on my fingers just to remind myself of everything. So, intro and well attended. Let's see. Oh yeah, sorry. So let's make fun of the Workmen some more. Let me think. Okay, vibrating dickheads. Okay. I probably shouldn't make fun of the Workmen so much. Some of you probably really like the Workmen. It'll be awkward. You know what else is awkward? When you're like mixing two groups of friends. So it's like, okay. Okay, guys. So these guys over here, yeah, they don't know I drink. Just play it cool. And don't be thrown by my British accent either. So also in the same vein of making fun of the Workmans, I'll also be making fun of The Veil, that movie that's being fundraised for tonight. I don't really know anything about The Veil. It sounds like one of those movies like The Notebook or The Vow. It doesn't really sound very interesting. I looked up the synopsis to it on Facebook. I was also the 87th like of the page. And then I checked it again today and it's on 96 likes. So we're almost at that 100. So after tonight, we will have at least 100 likes on the Veil page. And I also looked at the synopsis as well. And it was like a bunch of youths get involved in the occult. I mean, we're all young, right? So, I mean, is the occult, like, popular anymore? Like, is that something that we all care about and, like, think is, like, oh, the occult, man. Oh, here there's this crazy group of kids who, like, dabble in the occult. I mean, it was, like, popularized by Aleister Crowley in, like, the 1890s. And then revitalized in the 1960s by Black Sabbath. And then it really had its heyday, kind of in the 70s with The Exorcist. So I don't know, is The Veil better than The Exorcist?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. That's cool. But yeah, I like movies. I like it when people stand up and clap at the end of a movie in the cinema, because it really makes the computer upstairs feel really appreciated. So I don't really know how to describe my sense of humor. I really like self-deprecating humor. I'm just not very good at it. And when my friends have asked me, why do you want to do stand-up comedy, or why do you, isn't that just kind of getting on stage and showing off? Isn't it a little bit narcissistic? And then I say, well, not really. I mean, Narcissus is the last Greek god or mythological figure that I feel like I relate to. I feel like I relate a lot more to Zeus. I usually like to name my sets, and I've been thinking a lot more about the future and what I'm going to do in the future kind of recently, because I'm in the winter of my kind of college time. So I've decided to call my set End of Days, brackets college. Yeah, a lot of people, see, I do English, so I'm learning to read. I'm in 4th year, and I'm getting a lot of my English class friends have been talking about like what we're all going to do. And it seems most people want to either teach or figure out how to get paid for their writing. But I think I've got a much better prospects ahead of me than all of them. I think I definitely have a more solid kind of career prospect, or what I'm going to do, I suppose, later. I'm going to move to America and marry Katy Perry. And then I'm going to divorce her and get half her money. I mean, the difficulty with that will be convincing her not to get a prenup. But I figure I can just do that by being like, oh, well, in Ireland, we never get prenups. It's against our religion. No, I can't get a prenup if we get married. And then I'll be like, nobody in Ireland has ever gotten a divorce, ever, because it's against our religion. And then I'll get married to Katy Perry, and then I'll divorce her, and then I'll get half of her money. And then I said this last night to a lot of my 4th year peers, and they were like, oh, you just want to take the easy way out and not do any work and stuff. And I'm like, I would honestly put just as much work into that as any of them would into setting up their own magazine or I don't know, doing something else with, setting up a business. So I would put just as much work into trying to marry Katy Perry than any of them would in any of their respective fields. Let's see. Oh, but I also might be another thing I'd like to do is, does anyone know the musician Elliott Smith?
Yeah.
Okay. You'll like this joke. I would like to be an Elliott Smith tribute guy, and then just be a tribute act of Elliott Smith, and go around and play gigs. But then to be a real hardcore Elliott Smith tribute band guy, I'd have to kill myself, because that's what he did. I think my tribute band name would be Mr. Misery, because he had that song Miss Misery from Good Will Hunting. Or my friend John said, why don't you call your Elliott Smith tribute guy name Stab Me Once, Shame on You. Stab Me Twice, Shame on Me. I thought it's kind of funny because he stabbed himself twice in the heart.
I can imagine John saying
I might do that. Do you remember the Abercrombie models that were outside the Abercrombie store? Yeah, I when I first saw them, I actually thought that's a really good marketing ploy, because everyone was talking about it. They were like, oh, those guys standing outside that shop, making us all want to go into the shop. Yeah, I was like, yeah, that's all right. And then, but the fact that they stayed there for about a month, or I don't know, are they still there? I don't know. But, it kind of took a bit of a sinister turn for me, I think, because it looked more like a protest than a shop launch. I don't know what they were protesting, but maybe something like that. No more ugly people! No more ugly people! I don't know. So I was sitting on the toilet. I was sitting on the toilet today writing my set. And I saw the greatest thing I've ever seen written on a toilet roll dispenser. And it said, describe your shit with a movie title. And there was loads, there's a really big reaction to this. So I'll just tell you some of my favorites, okay? So, remember, describe your shit with a movie title. The Big Red One. What Richard Did. The Fast and the Furious. The Great Escape. Flushed Away. That's kind of obvious. What Lies Beneath. Alive. I loved this one actually. This was great. Lord of the Flies. I feel like some really for college though. Taken. Taken 2. Stuck on You. Something's Gotta Give. Big Daddy. Stranger Than Fiction. And Stuart Shittle. There's a lot more ones that weren't really funny.
There will be blood.
There will be blood. Is there like Forrest Gump? I didn't think that was that funny. The other one's like one poo over the cookies. But that was kind of going against the, it's changing a movie title to make it sound like a poo. I added my own one, which I thought was good. It wasn't actually describing my own poo, but it was just one that I thought would be funny. 127 hours. That can either be the amount of time it took to process and then, or else just the amount of time sitting on the toilet. Okay. So I met someone recently. Yeah, she's really nice. I think I'm in love.
Oh.
Yeah, she's like 1 in a million. Well, she probably isn't actually 1 in a million, because then there'd only be like 5 other people like her in Ireland. Maybe like 600 other people like her in the world. So she's probably really more like 1 in 10,000, maybe. I'm no statistician. But I mean, but then maybe not even 1 in the 10,000, because then I'd have to run into like 10,000 other people to meet someone like her. Again, she's probably more like 1 in 30 or so. Yeah, someone like her only comes along every 30 or so people. Really, really special. Man, I'm horny. Sometimes my penis gets so hard that I think it might explode. And I really want to suck at my mom's tits. Oh, sorry, geez. Sorry, I was channeling my inner child there. Yeah, God, that's embarrassing. So my first girlfriend was Japanese. Her name was Toshiba. Okay. 6 ways to please your man. Mess with his dick. 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 Okay, I feel like I took this in a really okay, I'll get back to not smutty humor. Wait, I have a few more smutty jokes. Would anyone like those? Or should I go back to like nice humor about like Katy Perry and stuff?
No.
Katy Perry?
No.
Oh. Okay. Met someone. So I was buying condoms the other day. You ever know when you're buying condoms where there's so many different varieties of condom? Well, yeah, I mean, I always get bogged down in like, what would this one be like? Should I spend my money on this one? I mean, will that like make my penis feel different or something? Or I don't know. But anyway, I was buying condoms and I narrowed it down to 2 kinds of condoms. Regular and Pleasure Max. So I was thinking regular or Pleasure Max. I went for the regular. But mean, wait, okay, all right, okay. So why do they have regular? Why do they have pleasure mats and regular? I mean, shouldn't they just get rid of the regular? Wouldn't it always be better to get pleasure mats? Or do people kind of go like, oh, those pleasure mats are pretty great, and maybe we'll have to go to regular next time to cool down. Is that how it works? That's just something to think about. Okay, that's what I'm about, asking questions. And talking about Elliot Smith. Okay, so... actually, I think I'm just gonna go. I've got some stuff written down that I can't remember how it goes, so I'm just gonna go. But thank you very much. I should probably finish on a joke. Okay, I'll finish on a joke. Okay, so there was this guy. Oh, actually, I have loads of jokes that I just didn't say. Okay. So, I'm writing a book on infinity. It's about 200 pages long. So I can talk to animals. I just can't understand anything they're saying. I'm learning Hebrew in due course.
Anti-Semitism is a popular one.
Okay, so there's this guy, and he came down the stairs one day, and his dad was like, you know, son, I think it's time you got a job. And he was like, oh, okay, all right. So he got out the classifieds and he started circling some of the jobs, and then he went for a few interviews, but he didn't really get anything. So, but then one day, well, he kept doing that routine of circling the jobs, you know, going to the interviews, coming back home. His dad would like get him ready and stuff, and like lend him a tie and things to go out and get his first job. So anyway, he responds to one of the ads that says the church is looking for someone to ring the bell. So he says, no, I can do that. I can go and ring a bell. So he goes down to the church and has an interview with the priest guy. And he's like, the priest is like, so you fancy yourself as a guy who can ring a bell, huh? And he's like, oh yeah, I think I can do it. So anyway, the priest is like, okay, so they go up the tower to the top where the bell is. And so he's like, okay, this is how you ring the bell. Bong. And then the guy tries it. He's like, okay. Bong. He's like, oh, that's great. Okay, so you've got the job. You start tomorrow, and you're going to ring the bell once every hour. So he's delighted. He's got a job. It's his first ever job, and it's really easy, and he can do it. Well, at least he thinks he can. Anyway, so yeah, he has a really successful first kind of like 2-3 weeks in the job. He goes up and he rings the bell all the time, and it's going grand. But then one day, he goes to ring the bell, but the bell ringing thingy flies out the window. And he goes to try and find it. Oh no, before he goes to try and find it, it's like coming up to like, oh, I have to ring the bell. So he just walks back like this, and then he just slams his face into the bell. And that works, and everything's okay. But anyway, he goes down to try and find the bell ringy thingy, and he can't find it because it's in the woods somewhere. Okay, so there's woods here now. Yeah, so he doesn't tell the priest that he lost the bell ringing thing. What's it called, like a clanger? I don't know. Well, the bell ringing thingy, because he's embarrassed, he's new on the job, he might lose the job. So he just continues to hit it with his face every day. And he would buy a new bell clangy thingy, but he doesn't know where to buy one. So he's just kind of stuck. But then one day, there's a funeral going on, and all of the town have congregated at the church, and so our hero goes up to, the bell tower to ring the bell, and it's coming up to like midday where he has to ring it, And so he does his usual thing of standing back, and he runs at the bell, but he trips, and he falls out the window, and he plummets all the way down, and then he flattens himself on the ground. And everyone comes running at him and screaming, "Oh my God, this guy, he just fell from the bell tower. Oh, Jesus Christ, he's dead. Does anyone know who he is?" And then, does anyone know his name? And then one of the guys comes up and he's like, "Oh, well, I don't know his name, but his face rings a bell." So that's it for me, guys.